Welcome to the Plato Paradigm, a paradigm shift in reading Plato's dialogues. Episode 100, Meno 80b to 81a. Last time we saw that Meno couldn't think of a fourth answer about virtue, and there is no reason why he should have been able to think of a fourth answer about virtue. Socrates had made him think about Gorgias yet again, and Gorgias wouldn't have had a third answer about virtue, at least not one that would be relevant to Meno. Socrates evidently knew what he was doing, and he may have suspected that Meno would then do what he actually does do, which is to celebrate his inability to give an answer. He has heard before that Socrates is that sort of person who himself has no answers and causes other people to run out of answers. We may understand that Meno is delighted because he is now going to be able to tell people back home that he has experienced precisely that sort of thing which people associate with Socrates. Furthermore, Meno now has the perfect excuse for not even bothering to try to answer any of Socrates' questions, and he can just sit back and listen to Socrates give answers, just as Socrates had given answers about shape and colour. Socrates, however, has other plans because he, after all, is a dialectician, and he is trying to get Meno to think dialectically. The whole dialogue so far has been geared to making Meno realize that there's a problem with the way he thinks, but after Meno's failure to give a fourth answer about virtue which involves justice or sound-mindedness or something like that, not a particular action, Socrates now changes his strategy. So he has allowed Meno to come up with this fake aporia, as if Meno really doesn't have answers. Meno actually does still have all of his answers, the answers that Gorgias gave him, and the other one he made up based on a poem. But Socrates has gone as far as he can by simply asking Meno for an answer to the question, what is virtue? It would have been good if Meno had struck out on his own and ignored Gorgias and thought of some sort of virtue encompassing justice, sound-mindedness, and so on. Socrates has already tried nudging Meno away from particular actions and towards those types of virtue which explain how actions are done and not what particular actions are done. And there is no point trying again. The aporia marks the cut-off point, and from now on Socrates will try a different strategy, or even more than one strategy. The first problem Socrates has is how to re-engage Meno, who has effectively taken himself out of this discussion. Socrates immediately brings Meno back into the discussion by talking about Meno. Panurgos eo Menon kai oligo exe pates asme. Ti maristo, Socrates. You're a villain, Meno, and you almost deceived me. How so, Socrates? In Hippias Minor, we saw panurgia being equated with kakurgia, bad action. Panurgia is doing anything in order to achieve a particular aim. Here Socrates describes Meno as panurgos, someone who is willing to do anything, and we should ask ourselves to what end. I suggest that we're supposed to think that Meno has done what he's done in order to get out of answering questions. But now Socrates gives an answer which is a bit of a surprise. Socrates does this in other dialogues as well. The reason Socrates gives is as far from a philosophical reason as possible. Gignosko hu hen kame e kasas tinoste oie. I know for what reason you made the comparison. For what reason do you suppose? The verb used here is ekadzo, which is to make an ekon, which is an icon, an image, or a likeness. So Socrates knows why Meno compared Socrates to a torpedo fish. Hinase ante caso, so that I'll make a comparison of you in return. This is probably not something that Meno had in mind. He was simply concerned with the aporia itself, with his inability to give an answer, and how wonderful that was. Socrates is basically putting a whole new spin on the narke episode. Ego de tuto oida peripantonton kalon, hoti chairusin e kadzomenoi, lucitelegar autois. I know this about all the kaloi, handsome people, that they enjoy being compared or being likened to something, for it is to their advantage. Socrates is back to the world of lovers and loved ones, erastai and eromenoi, but the ekon, the icon, would not be a torpedo fish. Kalaigar oimai ton kalon kai hai econes. For I suppose that of handsome people, the likenesses are also handsome. Al uk ante caso maise. But I won't liken you in return. Egode, emen he narke aute narcosa, huto kaitus alus poie narcan, e oike aute. But I, if the torpedo fish, being numb itself, also in that way makes others numb, then I seem to be like it. Edeme, ugar iuporon autostus alus poio aporen, ala pantos malon autos aporon, hutos kaitus alus poio aporen. If not, not. For it's not that I have answers and make other people to lack answers, but above all, it's when I lack answers that I make others lack answers as well. I should point out that what is well supplied or lacking the answers are not referred to explicitly, and we only have words cognate with euporia and aporia. Kai nun periaretes oestin egomen uk oida sumentoi issos proteron mene desta prin emu hapsastai nun mentoi homoios uk doti. And now about virtue, what it is, I don't know, but you perhaps formerly did know before you touched me, but now you are like someone who doesn't know. In other words, Socrates is numb himself, and Meno is now also numb, which is what Meno himself said. Socrates has added the important point, which he could have made all through this dialogue, that anyone who simply asks questions and doesn't answer looks like someone who doesn't know. Gorgias teaches people to answer any question whatsoever, just like someone who knows. So Socrates is saying this for Meno's benefit. Meno now claims not to have any answers, but then that means that he is like someone who doesn't know. Is that really how Meno wants to appear? Socrates proceeds as if they both know nothing about virtue. Homos te thelo metasu skepsastai kai sudzetesai hotipotestin. Nevertheless, I want to examine with you and search together what on earth it is. Meno immediately tries to get out of having to think for himself or to answer questions. Kai tina tropon zetes eso Socrates tuto home oistato parapan hotiestin poion gar hon uk oistha prothemenos zeteses, kai hoti marista en tuchois auto, pos esse hoti tuto est in hosu uk edesta. And how will you search, Socrates, this which you don't know at all what it is? For you will search by putting forward what sort of thing of the things which you don't know. And if in the best case you do encounter this thing, how will you know that this is what you don't know? Manthano hoion bule legen o menon. I understand what you mean, Meno. Horas tuton hos eristikon logon katages, hos uk ara estin zeten anthropo ute ho oide, ute ho me oide. You see this, that it's an eristic argument that you're bringing, that therefore it isn't for a man to search neither for what he knows nor for what he doesn't. Utigaran hoge oiden zetoi, oiden gar, kai udende togetoi uto zeteseos, ute ho me oiden, udegar oiden hoti zetese. For he wouldn't search what he knows, for he knows, and there's no need of a search for such a thing. Nor would he search for what he doesn't know, for he doesn't know what he will search for. Ukun kalos oidoke legesai hologos hutos, O Socrates? Uk emoige. So doesn't this argument seem to you to be well said, Socrates? Not to me it doesn't. Eches legen hope, egoge. Can you tell me whereabouts? It doesn't seem to you to be well said. I can indeed. Well, this is very strange. We've fallen straight back into the pattern whereby Meno asks Socrates if he can answer, and Socrates gives an answer. However, unlike previous times, this time it looks as though Socrates will explain what's wrong with an argument and not simply give a positive explanation of something. Even stranger, both Meno and Socrates are treating what Meno has just said as if it is an eristic argument. It is not an eristic argument. What would have happened in an eristic debate is that the eristician would ask, who searches for something, who looks for something, the one who knows or the one who doesn't know? Then the victim will have to choose either the one who knows or the one who doesn't know. And in either case, the eristician would then be able to refute using the reasons that Socrates gave in his explanation for the argument. As usual in an eristic question, the options are black and white. In this case, complete knowledge and complete ignorance.